Welcome back to Black Cat Crypto Club. Guys, it has been about a week since I've been on, and in my last video, I was saying that Bitcoin is staging for a blast off. And since we have gained about $7,000 on Bitcoin's price, we went from about 57,000 the day that I made that video, and we are sitting above 64,000 today. So we are going to get into some of the news that happened over the weekend, and why Bitcoin's moving the way it is. And we're also going to get into some things to expect in the future. We're also going to touch on Ethereum ETFs. It's been a long, drawn out process for these things, but there is some news on those ETFs. So stick around. We are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if you guys have watched my channel before, you know, every month I kind of sponsor a different animal sanctuary. This month we are supporting Flipside Sanctuary. And these guys are a small sanctuary, but you know, if you go over and check them out. Their website is flipsidesanctuary.org, right here. And I do leave that link in the description of the video also. So go down, click on that link and go over and check these guys out. They have right here on their front page, as of 2021. So this is a little bit of old news, but as of 2021, they had saved 350 animals to date, which is just amazing. So that number's got to be much higher now, being 2024. But guys, it is not easy doing this kind of work. It takes a lot of work and a lot of money to take care of these abused, abandoned, neglected animals. So if you guys do have a dollar or two, just go over and help these guys out. You can hit up their donate button up here at the top, donate tab. There's a bunch of ways you can donate. You can send them things off of their Amazon and Chewy wish list. You can hit their Venmo, or you can just, like, right on their front page, you scroll down a little bit and they've got their PayPal button right there as well. So really easy to go over and help these animals out. And it's a great thing, you know, good thing to do for yourself today. Go over and help some animals out. And it's also a tax deduction. So win, win, win. Okay, so let's get into the first bit of news. This happened on Friday, guys, and the Germans sold their last Bitcoin as of Friday. Now, if you watched my last video, let's see, I believe that was on Wednesday. Last Wednesday, I posted my last video, and the Germans had sold about half of their Bitcoin. So about $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin they had already sold as of last Wednesday. So they still had half left, and they sold that from Wednesday to Friday. So crazy amount of selling, and they were dumping straight onto the market. So what's wild is they dumped the rest of this on Friday. And what did Bitcoin's price do? We gained $2,000 that day. So I don't know, guys. It's this whole Germany thing has been kind of crazy, the way that they did it. You know, just dumping straight onto the market. Kind of seemed like they were, like, intentionally trying to crash Bitcoin's price. But as we saw Friday, if that was the plan, they wildly did not expect the buying pressure that we were having. You know, these ETFs were just buying up, and, you know, retail buyers buying outside of the ETFs just bought everything Germany owned and some. And we went up $2,000 that day. So I think Germany, I don't know what they were thinking, honestly. It was kind of a disaster the way that they went about their entire sale. They could have done it way smarter and actually gained quite a bit more from it. So it was just kind of crazy how they did it. Not sure what they were thinking or if they were even thinking. It was just kind of a reckless sale, and I think they suffered for it. They're going to look back on it and regret it. And I think they probably, maybe, I mean, if they're watching Bitcoin's price, they probably already are regretting it. And the funny thing is Bitcoiners are sending Bitcoin to this German wallet, just micro transactions, just so they can put in a message on those on those transactions saying, "Have fun staying poor," and just heckling the heck out of Germany. So yeah, just Bitcoiners having their fun. But anyways, that sell pressure is completely over. And that is one reason why we have seen the markets just kind of take off since Friday. So that's one reason. Also in the news as of yesterday, guys, is this is Eric Balchunas, the Bloomberg ETF expert. He says, this was yesterday, and he says, update Nate's instinct, Nate Geraci, kind of said, we're going to have an ETF approval this week. And he said, Nate's instincts were right. Hearing SEC finally gotten back to issuers today, asking them to return final S1s on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, including fees, and then request effectiveness on Monday after close for a Tuesday 7/23 launch. So finally, we are, after this long drawn out process for these Ethereum ETFs, if everything goes as planned, we will see Ethereum ETFs trading on Tuesday of next week. So 1 week from today. Guys, it really has been a drawn out process for this. If you remember back to the Bitcoin ETF, one thing is there was so much anticipation for that Bitcoin ETF that I think the SEC, they had already worked through the entire process, and we were approved the 10th, I believe, of January, and it started trading the next day. Guys, it's been over, I mean, I don't even know the exact day they were approved, but it's been over a month. And the SEC has just been dragging their feet with all of this, and it's finally coming to fruit. So something to look forward to next week if you are an Ethereum holder. Even if you're not an Ethereum holder, some people are saying this might be a catalyst for the entire crypto market, just like the Bitcoin ETFs were. Now, guys, I wouldn't expect the inflows that we've seen to Bitcoin's ETFs into Ethereum, but it is a smaller market cap as well. So it doesn't need to be as big of a launch as Bitcoin's to affect it just as much, if not more, than what Bitcoin saw in price action after the Bitcoin ETFs. So, and I've been saying for a while, guys, I think Ethereum really is BlackRock and Larry Fink's play. Like they really do look at Ethereum and see that as kind of their value ticket. In fact, and I don't know if I've reported on this, but BlackRock actually has their own coin built on top of Ethereum. It's called BIDL, and I don't talk about it a lot, if I've even mentioned it at all in the past, because it is for the rich, like they're very, very rich clients that BlackRock has. It's not available for us everyday commoners. So I'm not terribly interested in it. Nor would I be if it was even available, because what it is it's kind of a tokenized real world asset basket of treasury notes and certain notes, kind of like that, bonds, I think, and whatnot. So kind of a boring crypto, in my opinion, and very much based on the traditional finance system. So not terribly interesting to me, but it does show that BlackRock is more than interested in Ethereum's ecosystem. You know, they do have that Ethereum ETF, which I'm sure will be amongst those that are launching on Tuesday. But on top of that, they're building on top of Ethereum. So, you know, I've said it before, like, I think Bitcoin was kind of their foot in the door for what they really want, and that's Ethereum and DeFi. You know, they can cut their costs working with DeFi, and it has quicker settlement times than traditional finance. So I don't know, guys. It'll be interesting to watch the performance of the ETFs, but I think big corporations and big investment firms like BlackRock really see the value in Ethereum. So I think it has a lot of potential. Okay, so also yesterday, while we're on the topic of BlackRock and Larry Fink went on CNBC with Jim Cramer yesterday and said a few positive things about Bitcoin. I don't agree with the entirety of it, but let's jump over and I'm going to show you guys this clip that he was on CNBC yesterday. Listen in.
I know you have been a leader in willing to embrace crypto. You have made it so that people can be in Bitcoin. We hear that you are thinking about Ethereum. These are incredible things. Now, BlackRock is not known as a gunslinger by any means. So you obviously must believe that this maybe is an alternative. Is this an alternative in order to be able, because of a deficit, maybe something long-term people should have?
Absolutely. As you know, I was a skeptic.
Yes.
I was a proud skeptic. And I studied it, learned about it, and I came away saying, okay, my opinion 5 years ago was wrong. Here's my opinion today. This is what I believe in today. I believe the opportunity today. I believe Bitcoin is legitimate. I'm not trying to say there's not misuses like everything else, but it is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have maybe uncorrelated, non-correlated type of returns. I believe it is an instrument that you invest in when you're more frightened, though. Right. It is an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency, debasing their currency by excess deficits, and some countries are. I believe we have countries where you're frightened of your everyday existence, and if you have an opportunity to invest in something that is outside your country's control, then you can have more financial control. And so I'm a major believer that there is a role for Bitcoin in portfolios. I believe you're going to see that as one of the asset classes that we all look at. I look at it as digital gold, as I said before, and I do believe there's a real need for everyone to look at it as one alternative to, I would say, the optimism that I have in the world. If you want to hedge hope, Bitcoin is not an instrument for hope unless you're hopeful you're going to make a lot of money on it. But I look at it as a vehicle in which you're expressing your financial acumen in something that you're more frightened of the world, you're more frightened of your existence. And I believe there's a great industrial use for it. And I think a lot of people are missing that.
I couldn't agree more. I changed my mind about it when you did. You had been my thinking. It was like, you don't believe in it, so I can't believe it. I want to thank Larry Fink for the message of optimism.
Okay, so let's get back here. So the big thing I disagree with there is I believe Bitcoin is hope. Where he's saying it's kind of a pessimistic like investment. You know, if you think the world's going down, then Bitcoin is kind of the hedge against that, which it kind of is. Like he said, you know, it is that money that you want to be in when governments start debasing their currency. But the big thing there is governments have always been debasing their currency. It's always been a thing. So this is the way we fix our money, and that is hope. That's where I think Larry Fink is a little bit confused there. But also, you know, at the end there, we see Jim Cramer saying, well, you've changed my mind. And I don't like that at all, because we do in the crypto space have the inverse Cramer effect. So there is a little bit of FUD there now. Anytime Cramer says anything good or bad about it, the opposite tends to happen. So just a meme there that kind of ends up usually happening. So there is that as far as FUD out there now. Jim Cramer has changed his mind on Bitcoin for the 10,000th time. Another thing in the news yesterday, we had Jerome Powell, chair of the Federal Reserve. He was speaking yesterday, and he did say some dovish things. You know, he said right here it says Powell indicates the Fed won't wait until inflation is down to 2% before cutting rates. Now, I mean, this is dovish because it kind of implies that we are close to getting rate cuts, and the money printers are going to turn on. They're going to debase the currency further, which is not great, but that money that they end up printing, you know, tends to flood the market, and some of that comes into Bitcoin, all while the dollar weakens. So the dollar weakens and the price just naturally goes up for Bitcoin. Now, this isn't anything terribly new. If you watch Powell, this is kind of his regular thing that he always says. You know, they're not going to wait on a lagging indicator, which all of their inflation measures are lagging. So, and some people say up to like from 6 to 18 months lagging. So obviously they are not going to wait until it gets down to that 2% is where they want it. You know, they don't want it to go lower than that, because usually that is not great for the economy and they end up losing. But we are at about 3%. I believe just last week, CPI came in at 3%, which does suggest we are getting close to probably where the Fed is eyeing at cutting rates. So I don't think there's a big chance of us getting a rate cut this month. They do meet at the end of this month. I believe like the 30th. Like the last day of the month, they are having the FOMC meeting, and they will be deciding on rate cuts. I don't see, you know, the markets don't have it priced in that they are going to cut rates this month. So if they do, markets will move massively, but it's probably not likely. Now, the FOMC usually meets about every 6 weeks. So we don't end up having a meeting every single month. So the next meeting after this month will be in September. Now, September's chances of a rate cut as far as the predictive markets have, is about 80% right now. So rate cuts in September are very, very likely, according to all of those predictive markets. And I tend to agree. I think it's perfect timing. You know, all the CPI numbers are kind of pointing to that. The economy is pointing to, you know, the labor force is starting to slow down. And conveniently, it's right before the elections. So, and they always do like to start, you know, tossing money out before the elections. So conveniently, all things are lining up. Everything in the cosmos is well as far as rate cuts are going. You know, one last thing, guys, in the news. Now, this is the bit of FUD that we've been having as far as Mt. Gox. It says Kraken says that they've successfully received funds from Mt. Gox trustee and will work to distribute within 7 to 14 days. And this was the email that was sent to affected users. So yes, Mt. Gox is distributing Bitcoin. The big fear there is that, you know, people get their Bitcoin back and now they have the ability to sell. So people see this as some sell pressure, as some fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But most people are saying that this fear is overblown. And I believe so also myself, guys. You know, if you think about it, anybody who's in Bitcoin should really know that we are still ahead. We still have a big bull run ahead. So I think most people who are into crypto that are getting their crypto back from 10 years, unless they're just so burnt and salty over the entire thing, which definitely some people probably are. So I guarantee we will see some people selling, but I just don't think this is significant enough. You know, if Germany dumping $3 billion worth of Bitcoin straight onto the open market wasn't enough to crash Bitcoin, I don't see people getting their Bitcoin back. It's going to be split either way. I think there's going to be some people that keep, some people that sell, but you know, the portion of how much sell pressure comes from that is the big question. I just don't see it being enough to really be that big fear that everybody's expecting. And honestly, we've had this hanging over our heads for 10 years, guys. And every time Mt. Gox comes into the news, the Bitcoin market reacts. And most of the time it's negatively. So honestly, this is just so good, in my opinion, to be actually getting it over with, you know, ripping off that Band-Aid, whether we have sell pressure or not. Let's get it over with. I just don't see it being that big of a sell pressure. It's a perfect time to be getting your Bitcoin back and holding, in my opinion. So, I guess we'll see, but this is happening, guys. Kraken says within the next week to 2 weeks, this disbursement will be happening. So it'll be something to watch. But again, guys, I think this is a positive thing in the end, especially. So, guys, like I said, I haven't been on for about a week. I've been pretty busy with about a million other things. Recently, one of my dogs passed away, so it's been a lot going on here at the Crypto Cat House. but I do hope to get on a little bit more. So if you guys like these videos, make sure you hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe. It always helps me to kind of know what you guys are liking, what you're not. And I hope to get on a little bit more. But another thing, guys, is it's just been kind of slow. It's been kind of that boring sideways action for Bitcoin the past several months. And there just hasn't been a whole lot to kind of get on and talk about. But hopefully I can get I have some things that I'm really kind of hoping to get in the works. So should be getting more and more videos out to you guys. But yeah, make sure you guys like the video if you want to see more. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks.